What's going on, mate? This is Riley Knight from the podcast Half-Assed History, here to have a bit of a chat with you about the heroes featured in Hidden Cup 5. All the heroes the players are using to hide their true identities are real-life people from history featured as units in various Age of Empires campaigns. And while T90 is an avid history lover, his knowledge and memory of history would pretty firmly make him a historical low elo legend, I think it's fair to say. So he invited me along to tell you a thing or two about these heroes we're watching square off against one another. Let's get to know one of them a little bit better. When you think of famous Norman conquerors, the name that probably comes to mind is William the Conqueror, who was so sick of being known as William the Bastard that he decided to conquer England just to get a new nickname. But there were plenty of other Norman conquerors who are, perhaps not as important as William, but were just as good at conquering, at least, and one such bloke was Robert Guiscard. This is a name that fans of T90 will know all too well. It's the nickname that U-Pudding adopted when crushing people with the Sicilian donjon rushes. And it was a very appropriately chosen nickname because Robert Guiscard himself crushed Sicily and southern Italy and brought it under his control. Guiscard was born in around 1015 in Normandy in northern France, but like many Normans at the time, he migrated to southern Italy. Many Normans worked there as mercenaries, but some actually managed to conquer and rule over land of their own. But as a sixth son, Robert was unlikely to inherit anything much, even when his brothers managed to capture some land for themselves, and so he worked as a bandit for a while, before finally being given a small castle by his brother Drogo. In the 1050s, Pope Leo IX decided he'd had enough of these Normans roving around, capturing and ruling land to the south, and so he organised an army to try to boot them out, and he failed quite badly, and Robert did so well in fighting off the papal forces that he was rewarded by the victorious Normans with a county of his own, and from there, holy moly, he did not slow down. He conquered Calabria, the toe of Italy's boot, and then eventually moved across to conquer the island of Sicily as well, which at the time was ruled by Muslims. Now, did he conquer Sicily by towering his gold piles, abusing the market, and rushing opponents down with the sergeants before they had a chance to properly respond? Historians are still divided on that point, but however he did it, Robert quickly established himself on Sicily. He fortified the towns he captured, very quickly too, you'd imagine, with the Sicilian construction bonus, and in the coming years beat back the Saracens, expanding his influence over the islands. However, unlike his Age of Empires namesake, this was a long and protracted campaign. It wasn't the blazing fast all-in U-Pudding strategy, it was more like the Sicilian First Crusade. It took about 1 billion years to actually get done. It wasn't until 1086 that Sicily was, once and for all, finally brought under Norman control, although Robert's brother Roger was installed as the Grand Count of Sicily all the way back in 1071. And if you've ever wondered where the inspiration for the in-game Sicilian donjon comes from, it's very likely the small castles that Roger built. Some are still around today in Sicily, and you can actually see the resemblance. Robert and Roger were very good at getting castles up, it seems. Unsurprising, again, given the Sicilian bonus. So if we ever see Robert failing to complete castles in Hidden Cup 5, we'll know why. Doubt confirmed. But it wasn't just the Italians and the Saracens that Robert fought. He mixed it up towards the end of his career by going after the Byzantines as well, fighting Alexius Comnenus, another Hidden Cup 5 competitor, and he gave them the U-Pudding treatment. I can tell you, quickly diminished their influence in southern Italy and the Balkans. He even thought about an attack on Constantinople itself, but wisely decided against it. We will leave that to the Turks and their gunpowder in 1453. I think now it's not the time. After Robert's death in 1085, Sicily and southern Italy continued to be ruled by his descendants, the Hortevilles, who had a huge impact on the history of the region. But as for Robert himself, he became known to history as Robert Guiscard. Guiscard is not a name, it's actually it's a nickname he was given. It loosely means the cunning or the resourceful. But will Robert be both cunning and resourceful enough to succeed in Hidden Cup 5? Will he donjon rush his opponents into oblivion just like he didn't do 1,000 years ago? Stick around with Hidden Cup 5 to find out.